In August of 1995, Gail Smart contacted the Boiling Spring Lakes Police Department because she hadn't heard from her son, Timothy Smart, in several days.
He would call her every Wednesday night, no matter what. Well, when she didn't get that call for a day or so, she really started worrying.
She tells the police that she had called Brian O'Daniels herself. He said he hasn't seen him in over a month when he left hitchhiking for South Carolina.
She told police, I feel like this boy's lying to me. I don't know if they got in an argument. She's like, I don't know. She goes, but something happened with my son.
25-year-old Timothy Smart was last seen in Boiling Spring Lakes in July 1995. What happened and where he is now remains unsolved. Smart lived in the 200 block of South Shore Drive in Boiling Spring Lakes. This was the last place he was ever seen. If you have any information, please contact the Boiling Spring Lakes Police Department.
Angie had moved out of state. She harbored a lot of guilt for not ever saying anything. And so it was a lot of reassuring her that she was not in trouble. She said Tim made a pass, and it sounds like Brian was upset about that at the time and spoke to Tim about it. Angie tells me that Brian's acting a little unusual. He tells her to go gather Tim's belongings, that he's not going to be returning. And she says very soon after that, you know, he's never seen again.
So that's huge for us. It's the first conversation we have on record of anybody saying, I talked to Brian O'Daniels and he told me that he killed Timothy Smart.
So who is your suspect? Can I ask you that question?
I'd like to hear your side of the story first, if you don't mind.
Is it O'Daniels?
It is O'Daniels.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and I'll start from here. So Brian said that Tim was messing with Angie, his girlfriend. So Brian took the guy out and shot him.
Okay.
And he killed him. And apparently, if you go down the CC road, before you get to the big power lines, there's a little dirt road that takes off to the right. And then you go down that dirt road and there's a little curve and you can take a left and there's a little pond. Well, Brian had buried him. Apparently, he had went back and dug him back up. And where he put him the second time, nobody knows.
Okay. We pulled him aside and said, hey, look, now we need to know how you know this information. He then gives us the name Randy Pickard. He believed Randy to be someone who helped Brian bury Tim's body. So like I said, just like you just told us, just walk us through again. You said you were at the party, you were at the house party, you were asleep, and then Brian came and got you.
Yes, sir.
Just walk me just through that again.
Then we jumped in the truck, went down CC Road, turned down the little path, and there was a car, and, fresh dirt, and he piled the dirt up behind the straw, changed the car. We tried to drag the car over what was there, and the car really didn't move. It just kind of went sideways. We threw pine straw everywhere and went down out the road.
Okay. And you said there was a shovel in the back of the truck and a rake. You said it looked like there was blood in there?
Yes.
And what did he lead you to believe it was?
A deer.
Okay. You're nervous going into it. Here we are sitting him down 24 years after he killed somebody, and we're going to try to get him to confess to it. Do you remember I know it's been 24 years. Do you remember the day it was that he disappeared? Or that you last saw
I didn't know
him?
how many years it was. But one evening, his clothes, everything was gone.
Uh-huh.
You know, he was supposed to be trying to go to South Carolina for a job interview.
Right.
I think it was the next morning or something like that.
Okay.
So, just assumed that he had gotten a ride.
Right.
Because that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to get me to take him down there the next day, and I couldn't because I had to work.
Right.
So that was the last time that I ever heard from Tim.
Okay. We circled a lot with him. We would hit him with something, he would deny it, and we'd go right back. We wanted to see if there was any conscience in there over what he'd done 20-some years ago. Every year, Tim's mom called our district office to find out if there were any new leads in her son's disappearance. And we went to go look her up last summer, and she passed away 2 years ago, not ever knowing what happened to her son.
It's a lot of years to go without knowing what happened to your only child. And wondered, I mean, she went to the grave, never knowing what happened to her child.
I've told you all I can tell you.
Brian, it's just not true.
It is true. That's all I know, and that's all I can tell you.
Is this the story you're going to stick to? It's not going to work
It's
for
not.
you.
It's the truth.
You don't do that. No, I haven't come back yet.
There's no question at this point in anybody's mind as far as what happened. So we would have to go back and find this burial site so that we can put him behind bars for the murder of Timothy Smart.
I started doing some time-lapse satellite images through Google of the area. I was able to find an area that was exactly how they described. It had a small body of water. It had an access road. I went out there, I got a machete and kind of cut a path through the woods. Started scouting around a little bit, and I found a rusted out car chassis. Well, that's specific to the information Randy gave. And I felt like that this is where Tim's remains were.
The dig was a big coordinated process. Brought in some heavy equipment and started leveling all the trees down. I think the third scoop in, I heard some agents start yelling, like, "Hold on, what's that?" And our forensic anthropologist walked over and hopped down in the hole and said, "That's a skull cap." So we started in the slow process of uncovering remains.
We recovered a wallet, and inside the wallet was the identification of Timothy Jason Smart. There's got to be some divine intervention here because everything just is falling in place.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime case. This was solved with a lot of old-fashioned police work and a lot of luck.
Even though Gail had passed away, she got justice for her son. I kept a copy of her letter on my desk throughout this investigation. That was my motivation to keep going.